What is going on, all you Pokemon collecting maniacs out there? This is Ryan, the Pika Pika Papa, and in today's video, we're going to talk at a high level about the brand new set, which has been announced, Mega Evolution. But we're also going to be doing a little bit more throughout the course of this video. Here earlier on, I'm going to talk to you about some of my core investing and collecting principles, or rules, if you will, and things that kind of keep me focused. And then in the back half of this video, what I'm going to be talking about is some of the sets that are coming out later on in this Mega series, because listen, I am not throwing shade at Mega Evolution. I think there are some big name Pokemon in there. I think the set is going to be fantastic. I am absolutely going to be taking an allocation in it. I'm going to get PC ETBs. I'll pick up a couple booster boxes. Like, I'm going to be buying some of that set. But what I really am excited about are some of the future sets, some of the ones that are coming out much later in the Mega series. And some of the things that I do every single month to keep me grounded is I give myself a Poke budget. I only have X amount of dollars that I can spend on Pokemon cards every single month. I am self-aware enough. Like, I'm an excitable guy. I love this hobby inside out, upside down, backwards, and forwards. And if I don't give myself that budget, I can end up making some silly decisions. However, I also know that I will spend every single penny of that budget every single month unless I am, again, forward-looking enough to say there are bigger things that are coming in the future that I'm going to get even more joy out of. So moving forward every month up until some of these bigger sets we're going to talk about later on, I'm going to be saving a little bit of my monthly Poke budget. I'm going to be putting it aside. It's going to hurt in the short term, but I know in the long run I'm going to get much more joy and satisfaction by having that extra dry powder to spend on some of these sets that I'm going to enjoy so much more, even though it might be 3, 4, who knows, 5 or 6 months further down the line. But these are just things that I do to keep myself grounded and to make sure that I get the most amount of joy out of this hobby that we all love. Now, speaking about joy in the hobby, listen, I love buying things at MSRP. That's nothing that all of you out there don't align yourselves with. And I've been very, very fortunate. I have been able to get almost everything at MSRP up to this point. I missed Destined Rivals because I was in an airplane. We didn't have Wi-Fi. And by the time I got on the ground, it was game over. So I missed out on that. I'm going to have to buy that at some of these higher prices, but I'm going to share with you the tool that I use later on in this video to make sure that I have the best opportunity to get things at MSRP. So again, I don't promote a lot of products, but I'm going to show you one that I use here later on. And the other thing I want to say is, this process, like this kind of allocation of funds today to make sure that I can make purchases in the future, this is nothing new. If you watch this channel a lot, I did the same thing for 151. I was pumped for 151, and I was able to buy an absolute ton of it at MSRP because I was so excited for it, and I had all this cash set aside, right? And I did the exact same thing for Surging Sparks. I did the exact same thing for Prismatic Evolutions, and I started doing it for Destined Rival. I had no idea that I was actually going to miss out on the launch, but the nice thing was I still have that money set aside and earmarked for Destined Rivals, so I'm going to have some cash to spend on it here in the future. So with that being said, listen, before we get into the Mega Evolution cards, I got to give my selfish plug here, and I got to say, listen, if you enjoy the content, if you like this type of data-driven approach, if you're having fun along the way, hit the subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those two small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. So listen, here on the screen right now, you have some of the Mega Pokemon which are going to be coming in this very first Mega Evolution set. Now, I am shooting this video on Sunday. You will probably be watching it on Wednesday, so hopefully there have been even more reveals, but I got a crazy travel schedule this week, so I got to do some things in advance. But even just knowing, just these 4 Pokemon cards right here, you got Lucario, you got Gardevoir, you got Venusaur, you got Latias, like, each of these cards have had the ability to highlight and to really lead sets on their own in the past, but we have all 4 of them that are going to be featured here in the Mega Evolution set. Again, because this is a series and not necessarily a generation, and it's going to be a little bit shorter than what we traditionally see, I think they're going to pack a lot of big punches in this entire series. So not only do we know these 4 cards, obviously we know some of the promo cards that are going to be coming out. We've been able to see some of the illustration rares. Again, as I sit today and shoot this, we haven't seen any of the special illustration rares. So there could be some fire cards that are going to be announced that could totally change my perspective. Maybe I'm going to take a much bigger position in Mega Evolution, but as of right now, like I said, I'm kind of shaving off a couple dollars for some of those sets further on down the road. But that Alakazam ETB promo, I think that card is going to be absolutely hot. And then we have Bulbasaur over there, and I think this is really interesting. They are bringing back the box toppers, right? We saw that in Journey Together. We saw the Reshiram card, the illustration rare. It was both in the set and as a stamped promo, as a box topper in those enhanced booster boxes. I am very excited to see it come back again. I think Bulbasaur obviously has a much bigger following, so I think this card is going to be probably more in demand. I'm hoping that it stays under the radar for a little while. I still think that's stamp promo from Journey Together is going to do really well, but I think this card is going to do awesome in the long run. Again, I think it's just got a little more firepower. I think it's got a little more fanfare behind it. So I think this is going to be really cool, and I love these enhanced booster boxes. I think it is a great addition, and I hope we continue to see it throughout the course of the Mega Evolution. Now, I told you in the beginning I was going to talk about the product that I use to get things at MSRP, and I've got to share this with you because I use it literally all the time, and I think it is fantastic. And because I think the supply and demand curve is not going to flatten out between now and when the rest of these Mega Series sets come out, I wanted to put it on your radar. And you know I don't promote products a whole lot on this channel, but I gotta do the PokeNotify Discord. I am a huge fan of this. If you look at that screen that's scrolling right over there, like those are live updates from the other day from the Pokemon Center website. Like it tells you when there's the queue going up. It tells you, look, that's Fusion Strike Build and Battle boxes, right? You have stacking tins, you got fighting tins, hidden potential tins. Like all this does is make you aware of when these products are launching on the Pokemon Center website. Then if you look in the lower left-hand corner, it does it across all sources. It does across Amazon, you name any of the big box stores, it does it there as well. And then at the very bottom, I thought this was a great example. The other day, there was a huge restock at bestbuy.com of the 151 Blooming Water boxes, and there was over 1,000 people who were able to make this purchase thanks to the PokeNotify app, or Discord, excuse me. Now, I will say it's $7.99 a month, but if you use the Pika Pika Papa code, you get 25% off. It's a 3-day free trial. Like for me, this is something I use all the time, and it's helped me really get some awesome products at MSRP. So that's my plug right there, but I'm a big fan, and they're really awesome people who run that Discord as well. So you can do a lot worse than partnering with a group like that. So now we're gonna start talking about some of the other sets that are coming out in the Mega Series, and I am absolutely pumped to be talking about these. And the first one we're gonna start off with is Inferno X. This one has me borderline giddy. I am so incredibly excited about this. Now, we obviously know that Mega Evolution is going to be the first one, and this is the Japanese name. So we know the Japanese set is going to be called Inferno X. We know it is going to be launching on September 26th, and we know it is going to be featuring a Mega Charizard. Now, the card on here is the Mega Charizard from XY Flashfire. You cannot compare Flashfire to any set that's going to be coming out now. Print runs are totally different. Like it is just different generation, different runs. But that card is at $500 right now. Over the last year, it's up 54%. I have a strong feeling that whatever Charizard comes out in this Inferno X, whatever the US English equivalent is going to be, it is going to absolutely crush. We know that late series Charizards have a very strong track record of performance. Forget about the Obsidian Flames, forget about the Darkness Ablazes. Like we know these late series ones traditionally have a huge amount of fanfare, awesome artwork, and I think this is going to be the big Charizard that we've been waiting for. So I'm very, very excited for this one. And the other thing that we have to call out, okay, on September 5th, which is prior to the launch of Inferno X, which is happening on September 26th in Japan, in September 5th in Japan, they're going to be launching these starter sets, okay? And one of them is going to feature a Mega Gengar. Now, let me tell you this. Every generation in recent memory has had a set that has featured Gengar, and they have absolutely crushed it. You had Phantom Forces from the XY era. That set is ridiculously awesome, right? And then in Sun and Moon, I know the Lovebirds in Team Up gets all of the praise, but guess what? That was primarily a Gengar set. I don't think a lot of us saw the Lovebirds card popping off the way that it did, but guess what? Right below that, you have tons of high-dollar Gengar cards. And then, of course, in Fusion Strike, you have Gengars galore, right? That is a huge set with one of the best alt arts in the Sword and Shield era. Now, in Scarlet and Violet, we did not have a big Gengar card. Don't tell me that Morty's Conviction was a Gengar card. It absolutely was not, as far as I'm concerned. So we are due, and I think this is going to be it. And whatever set it is that features that Mega Gengar is going to go absolutely insane. I don't know. Listen, there are people out there who are much better than me at predicting what cards are going to be out in what set and understanding these Japanese to English translations and all that. That's not my jam. But whatever set the Gengar ends up in is going to be massive. And that is one of the reasons I'm putting away a lot of nickels right now, because I want a huge allocation in that set. The track record is just too strong. And you know, outside of Pikachu, Gengar's my favorite Pokemon out there. So I'm very, very excited. And I don't know, again, this is not my wheelhouse, but can you imagine if the US or English equivalent of Inferno X ends up having a Mega Charizard and a Mega Gengar in it? I might just explode into little pieces of Pika Pika Papa because I would just absolutely combust with excitement. I don't think they would do that. That might just be too much big bang boom for one singular set, but who knows? The timing of the launches in Japan sure seems to point that it is a possibility. Now again, maybe they're just going to do a deck with it, but traditionally when this happens over in the Japanese space, they usually take those cards and they fold them in either as promos or they include them into future sets. And again, I just think we are due for a Gengar set, so I think it's going to be a standalone, and I'm very, very excited for that. Now, the next ones we're talking about, we don't know quite as much about. Now, on Monday, I did a whole video on Rayquaza cards because I am very excited for this Storm Emeralda, because again, that's the Japanese name and we don't exactly know what it is. There's a little more shroud of secrecy around the two sets we're going to talk about right now, but every single thing that we can imagine points to this being a Rayquaza set. And again, that is another character which has just been able to really hold its weight when it comes to headlining different Pokemon sets. I know Evolving Skies, like obviously that's a big evolution set, everybody knows it for that, but remember the number 2 card is Rayquaza. So again, I think this set is going to be very, very special, and I'm incredibly excited about this one as well. So I think that's something that I have to look forward to, and that is one that I'm going to be putting some nickels away. Again, that's a set I want a big allocation of, even though I don't even know the rest of the set list. Like, that's the thing. If I know one set's going to highlight Charizard and it's a late series set, if I know one is going to highlight Gengar and I know one is going to highlight Rayquaza, like, I don't even need to know the rest of the cards that are in the set. I can stand here and tell you without a shadow of a doubt that I will be buying as much of it as I can reasonably afford, because I think that they're going to do really, really well. Now, the other set we're talking about right here is Ninja Spinner, which obviously sounds like it is going to be a Greninja set. You know, Twilight Masquerade was one which at first I said I kind of missed on because I just didn't quite get, you know, the overall market hype around Greninja. And if you look, that Greninja card has actually come down quite a bit. It's only up 9% over the last year. And even though we've seen a lot of softness in the Scarlet and Violet space and softness in the Sword and Shield space, you don't see a lot of cards, especially big chase cards like this, that are only up 9% over the last year. A lot of cards are up much more than that. So we'll just have to see what Twilight Masquerade does in the long run. But two incredibly big name Pokemon. Again, lots of positive momentum in Greninja in the hobby right now. Again, if I had to pick, it's going to be, for me, whatever sets feature the Gengar, whatever sets feature the Charizard, and whatever sets feature the Rayquaza. Like, those are the ones that I'm starting to put my kind of crosshairs on right now and make sure I'm in a great position to take a big allocation of those products. And so that's it. That's what we're talking about. Like, again, I'm not poo-pooing Mega Evolution. I'm going to be buying some of it. I'm very excited for it. I think the set's going to be really, really solid. But these 3 sets, or these 2 sets, whatever it ends up being, are the ones that I'm most excited about. And I promise I'm going to keep you updated every step along the way. As you can tell, this is a series that Pika Pika Papa wants a big part of. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I hope you had fun. I hope this was somewhat insightful, but most importantly, I hope you have an epic rest of your day. And if you did all of those things, listen, hit that subscribe button or give us a thumbs up. Those 2 small things go a long way in helping my small channel out, and I really appreciate it. So I will talk to you later. See you, everybody. Bye.